Hello, and welcome to the very first episode of On the Same Page.
On the Same Page.
I think that's the name we're going with.
I hope.
I think we're on the same page about the name. This is the show in which we will be discussing our favourite news headlines from the week, from the month, that we think people actually
what we
care
think
about.
is interesting.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
You're right, care is a strong word.
Care is a very, very
Not sure
strong
I
word.
really
We
care
care
about them. So I am Grace. I am the head of nightlife for UBTV. And this is my very good friend
Alice, and I am the head of news and the head of equipment for UBTV.
What have we been doing recently for UBTV?
We had a talk last night from Christy Nunn's, shout out, about like freelancing, and that was really, really interesting. And he actually showed us like a plan of how he does his finances, which I like really appreciate because a lot of people are quite private about that, and he was literally like, this is how I make money.
Yeah. Do you watch Hannah Witten on YouTube? She talks about freelancing a lot.
Yeah.
And she will do like a breakdown of all of her expenses.
I like that because I have no idea.
Yeah.
UBTV, what else have we done?
Last night we were filming, well, I delegated filming because I'm...
She's the head of nightlife.
Yeah, I can do that. I can do that kind of thing. We were filming at Lizard Lounge for the Freshers Unity event. It was all of the JCR, which is the junior common rooms, for those who didn't go to fancy school, because I didn't know that either.
I didn't.
They all came together from all the different halls and like put on a big
like a
club
mega
night
thing.
event. Yeah.
God, that's cool.
I know. I was
wanna
like,
do
this is
that.
kind of cool. But we did not do that.
We
in
did not.
first
We were
year.
both COVID first years.
COVID freshers. And I still feel like a COVID graduate. to be
Yeah.
honest. Anyway, should we get on to our stories?
Yeah, let's do that. So my story is from the BBC. We're going to link these in the notes below, and then you guys can read them and we'll all be on the same page. But mine is the headline from the BBC that's Roald Dahl, Rishi Sunak joins criticism of changes to authors' books. In my personal opinion of this thing, initially I saw that and I was like, okay, well if they're children's books, they're probably making changes to make them more sensitive to what's appropriate now for children. And my initial thought was like, oh my god, if with Rishi Sunak, is this headline like another sort of culture war, woke-arati thing? And so I read it, and it's like, it says what has changed, and they're changing Augustus Gloop in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is now enormous rather than fat. Mrs. Twit is no longer ugly and beastie, but just beastly. In the same book, in the Twits, they've removed a weird African language is discussed in it, and they've just removed that. And there's no crazy or mad about people. And in Matilda, they threatened to knock her flat, and they've changed it to give her right talking to. Which I read that and I was like, yeah, that does kind of make sense, because a few of those things, it's maybe when Roald Dahl wrote these that was appropriate, but it's not. But my opinion is not black or white after reading this, because Philip Pullman, who wrote the Golden Compass and
Lyra.
the Northern Lights, right?
Love it.
He has said on BBC4 that he was like, you shouldn't change them. He's advocated for don't touch the books. If you find them offensive, let them fade away. And Salman Rushdie as well has said Roald Dahl was no angel, but this is absurd censorship on Twitter.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's the niche context of that they're children's books.
Very, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas we're not out, no one's censoring Shakespeare or any...
No, that's what I was thinking.
else?
It's not like they're censoring To Kill a Mockingbird or something that's really important, a product of its time and about its time. Because the kids, I don't know, because it is children who read that will think that's appropriate, surely.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what I think. I don't know, because I trust people like Philip Pullman and Rushdie, but also Rishi Sunak wading in on it does give me the tone of the tofu eating, Guardian eating woke-arati of trying to change our children's books.
Sure.
I don't know.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting one to start.
Yeah.
I like it. Made me think of, have you seen the guy on TikTok who's currently going through all of the Disney movies and watching them and being because I think it's Disney Plus has started putting a disclaimer at the start of some of their old Pixar films, the old animated ones.
Yeah.
And I saw one this morning where he was watching Aristocats and he was like, why have they put this? I don't understand why. Until there's some
there's
huge stereotype right at the end.
There's one in, is it the Aristocats? They sing a song, these two Siamese cats.
Yeah, it's the Siamese cats. strange.
And you watch it and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
And like, yeah. Even in the like 1970 Robin Hood, like the old Robin Hood, you like, that's like a comforting film to me, and then you watch it like, and you're sort of like, oh.
Yeah.
It's not so good. Especially the women in Disney, obviously, that's like...
So I think I can understand it from the context of children's entertainment.
Right? Yeah. It's like
Makes
you have
sense.
to, you know, this is the way children are shaped, surely.
But also like a disclaimer at the start goes straight over a child's head, so...
That's actually true.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you watched it at the start of a Disney film and it said that, I don't think I'd engage with that at all.
But, last point, I've seen Aristocats 100 times, and like, I have never, like, if you'd have asked me what in it needed the disclaimer, I wouldn't have known straight off the back. Like, I wouldn't have remembered that specific last 3 minutes or whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's normally with like a beloved film that someone's like, oh, this bit's in it, and you think about it and you're like, oh, like, you know.
Yeah. Anyway, my first headline that I've got, well, it's not so much a headline as more of just a thing of the moment.
Okay.
But the interview that Rihanna has done with British Vogue recently, she's currently the front cover of British Vogue. She looks very gorgeous. I've got my copy here that I got from Tesco's the other day.
She's beautiful.
She's so gorgeous. She's got A$AP Rocky in the back with a little baby mans. We don't know the name of baby mans.
We don't at all. Can I have a look at that?
Yeah, of course you can. Of course you can.
What, she just hasn't released the name at all?
No, it hasn't released the name. It's being quite private. At least I don't think she's
released the name. His face has been... That's like an interesting
Well, she talks
thing.
about that in the interview, actually, about how she's been in the baby bubble and like has really tried to fight against paparazzi selling any photos, and thus far has been pretty successful.
Yeah.
So any photos that have been released of him have been like photos
Hers.
that she's taken and that have been approved by both her and A$AP Rocky. I don't
What's
know.
A$AP's name?
Is his first name A$AP, or shall I refer to him as Mr. Rocky?
Mr.
I don't know, but those photos are
Master
gorgeous.
A$AP.
But no,
Wow.
it's interesting. It's interesting the kind of media storm that's come around it, because lots of people have been upset on Instagram. Well, I say lots of people. There have been trolls on Instagram that have like spoken about how the front cover displays like A$AP Rocky being very, I don't know, people are
He's, like,
upset
kissing
that
his
he
baby,
looks,
yeah.
very submissive.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. She's like striding in front and...
Yeah, which is interesting when you actually read the article, which I realise trolls don't do, but she talks about how important it is to her to be raising a young black man at the moment, and how the relationship that A$AP and the baby are already, her baby, are have is really lovely.
Yeah.
Already.
That's so true.
So I thought that was really interesting to talk
Yeah, it
about.
says Rihanna and Rocky.
Yeah.
Well, I guess her name's not Rihanna. Robin Fenty.
Oh, yeah.
So they're just... Maybe their baby will have a stage name as well.
Maybe baby. I don't know.
Right.
Be
Sorry, I'm
interesting.
like, this is so interesting.
But that, in conjunction with her recent 13 minutes of halftime fame, have been.
Oh, you got a Lancome tester.
I know.
I think it is interesting how she is absolutely doing everything on her own terms.
Yeah.
Like she's not like the halftime show is like, you can tell we're not
Absolutely.
gonna get an album or
Yeah.
anything. She's like, I'll do this show because I want to do this show.
And she talks about that in the interview. She kind of talks about how Auntie, which was her last album back in 2016, she says is like, she was like, that is the best album I'll ever make. Like, and all of the songs that she says she's been kind of working on recently, she's had to get out of the mindset of like wanting to do better than Auntie and actually just, there it is, actually just make something else, just make something new.
Just like, she's got enough going on.
Yeah, for sure. She's got some beauty empires. Fenty's pretty big.
Did you see the thing about, it was something insane, like the bit where she like does the like blotting of her face in mid Super Bowl. That moment, it was like 30 million people looked up like Fenty Beauty or something. Like that one moment, there's a stat where it's like X number of people they looked it up, and it's just like, she's a genius.
She's a genius. She definitely is. And yeah, I mean, she broke She didn't break the internet. What am I saying? That's such an
Such a
exaggeration.
cute baby.
But she did announce her second child at the Super Bowl. Which
But
is
no
exciting.
one knew, because apparently before a bit that wasn't aired, like they cut away from her, but she did like a, you know, Beyonce at the VMAs.
Yes.
Which like she did that.
Yes.
So it would be like, I'm pregnant, and they cut away from it. So that's why there was that thing where it was like, is she pregnant or is that her postpartum?
Yeah, I saw that discussion.
Yeah, and it was
I had
just
to Google
like,
it a couple of times before I
you like
brought the
fiercely
facts
defending her
to today.
before,
Yeah, literally.
But I feel bad for her because she probably in her head was like, homage to Beyonce,
Yeah.
like amazing moment
Yeah,
on
definitely.
the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
and then they were just like, nah, cut to the backing dancers.
Yeah. Yeah. No, very, very cool.
Did you enjoy her show?
I did enjoy her show.
In all?
I thought it was pretty good.
I
I
think it was
loved
good.
people trying to lip read Adele
Oh yeah.
throughout. That was also great fun. But yeah.
Adele.
Adele!
She didn't play a few of the hits though.
Yeah, she
That
only gets
troubled
30
me.
minutes.
That's very true.
And also, there's no, I didn't know this, but you don't get paid for the Super Bowl.
No,
halftime
it's
show.
just like
all on advertisements.
the backing dancers don't get paid.
Oh, crazy.
Actually, let me do
Damn.
that.
The backing dancers aren't hers, they're like provided by NFL. That's like one of the things they pay for. I don't know. All of the financial ins and outs of
Yeah.
having a halftime show. But she was offered it. I thought it was, in the interview, she kind of speaks about how she was offered to do it back
I think they do get paid.
in
Sorry.
2018. No, this is it. She got offered to do it with Colin Kaepernick, who's the guy, the NFL player, who kind of started the movement of bending the knee.
Oh.
And she decided not to do it because I thought it was, I don't know if I misinterpreted it wrong from the interview, because I was like, she has just done the NFL, but she spoke about how she disagreed at the time with all the NFL kind of stood for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maroon 5 did a halftime show.
Jeez.
In
I mean, Maroon 5 are
2019.
living legends. So.
Maroon 5? That's so random. That, yeah, to be fair. I've got a list of what they picked. Girls Like You.
Yeah.
Sugar. Moves Like, ended with Moves Like Jagger.
Moves like Jagger.
Payphone is not
Such
by
good-
Maroon 5.
Yes, it is.
I'm at a pay. No,
That-
it's not. It's by,
It's by Maroon 5.
Oh, is it? They didn't play it at the Super Bowl. They didn't do it.
Yeah, what year was it though? Because that was 2012.
Yeah, this was 2019.
No, jeez.
They missed a trick there.
We are going off on tangents.
My next one, I haven't actually completely read this article, but
That's okay.
it's an interesting concept on Vice, where people are going on breakup vacations with their exes. And there's like, I've seen a load of TikToks about this. It's like when you break up from a long-term relationship, you might have a holiday booked in already.
Yes.
And then you have to go. And there's like jokes on TikTok about it. But they've got like an example of this couple. Justine Sebag, 26-year-old from Paris. She broke up with her boyfriend of 5 years the day before they were meant to go to France together, south of France. So they went, and this person writing the article is saying that it actually is quite good, like a breakup getaway. It's quite good for you because it like gives you conscious uncoupling. So it's like amicable, and you can like talk and have a fond memory of like your breakup. So like mutual breakup activities help reframe our ideas around with breakups, and
That's true, to be fair.
yeah, and you can like be on holiday together, although you would have to share a bed. And
That
also a
takes
twin
two
dress.
very mature grown-up
very,
people there.
very mature people.
Because I think that the
Cards got full!
Where were we?
We were saying that it takes two very mature people to go on a breakup vacay.
Yeah, because I think some people would just fall back in love with each other because holidays are like the best bit.
Holidays are the best bit.
But also I do know friends who had like whole gap years planned, and then I met lots of people whilst travelling.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm one of those girls. I think everyone's one of those girls these days.
Deep down.
And
And they broke up before they could go.
They were like travelling together, and you'd be like, oh, like, are you together? And they were like, not anymore. Yeah.
I think I would just take it on the chin.
I think it's quite hard to make friends whilst travelling that way, because couples naturally, I don't know, I'd be more nervous to approach a couple in a hostel.
It depends
I just
on...
assume that they're set,
they're
you
just
know?
like, they don't want a third wheel. Yeah. I think as well, what if your ex, like, you're travelling together and they're like, I'm gonna go, you know, get with someone else, and you're just in the hostel. Like, what's that? Like,
I don't know. I guess they must have spoken.
There'll be like respect there.
Yeah. But then friends who did a whole year of travelling together and then like within weeks of getting back broke up. And I don't know what's worse.
Another example of Grace from Sheffield, not you, but a different Grace. She said it was her best friend's older brother, and 6 months after nurturing secret feelings for each other, we finally got together just before he went to Australia for 10 months. And a few weeks after he got back, I had a week-long trip to London that he was paying for.
Jesus.
I don't know what this is about. We were both on the same page and agreed to let go on that when they're in London.
Instead of doing long distance.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
I think I'd just be like so bitter. Yeah. Maybe that says a lot about me.
I mean, I've experienced that, where I met someone whilst away and then carried on travelling, and he stayed in Australia. Yeah. And then because of COVID, never saw him again.
Never again.
Never again.
Where is he now?
He lives in London. I know. Okay, let's not go into that.
I knew this.
Let's not go into it. The next article I have is talking about, well, I guess, again, more of a media storm from me over here instead of a particular article. But Jacinda Ardern resigning. Yeah. And then after that, shortly after, Nicola Sturgeon also deciding to resign. Two female powerhouses deciding, unlike their
really
male
good politicians.
Really good politicians, having the power. You know, that's like true power, is knowing when it's time to go. Yeah. When it's time to go. And both of them said that in their like final speeches. They've both been like the heads of state throughout COVID. Yeah. And I mean, Jacinda Ardern in her like not closing speech, resignation speech, like spoke about how, you know, she's had to go through, she's like taken a country through crisis.
Like, and crisis after crisis.
Burnt out.
Right? Yeah.
Like, very burnt out.
Because she did was it the Christchurch shooting as well? Yeah. That was her.
Yeah.
So she has literally like, and Sturgeon did the first referendum and COVID.
Yeah, and also
did she? Sorry, I might have just lied.
And COVID, yeah. And it's been caught up in the recent like gender reformation bills and things, and all of the controversies over that.
Although she did say in her resignation speech, she was like, it's not anything like, she was like, it's not to do with what's happened recently.
No.
It's just because,
I'm tired.
Which Sturgeon doesn't have kids, does she?
I don't think so, no.
But she might not want to have kids.
Whereas Jacinda Ardern quite famously has children.
And a baby in office. Amazing. That was amazing.
Yeah, the first woman to ever do that.
That's so cool.
I think.
They are very cool. I think I'd definitely like hang out with Jacinda.
Yeah, for sure.
And Nicola.
Have you seen those videos of her and Lord? Like chilling, like they're really good friends. Lord's like a New Zealand.
They're both Kiwis, yeah.
Both Kiwis.
I thought Lord was Australian.
No, they're both Kiwis.
Kiwi.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I know.
They look fairly similar, actually.
Yeah, I think all Kiwis are related. There's some crazy fact where it's like there's 1 degree of separation between every Kiwi person.
Yeah.
Whereas it's like, I think 3 or 4 in the UK or something like that.
It is, New Zealand is the size of Wales, like population-wise.
Yeah.
Like, so when
there's
you think about it.
There's a whole lot of nothing in New Zealand.
And it is like not near, like I was going to say, like I was talking about travelling in Australia, and someone was like, oh, you could like go to New Zealand, and it's like, that is like 5-hour flight. Like, it's not like France to here.
I know.
It's like, well, yeah.
I've done it. I know.
And it's like, it's not like it's not like France and England. It's like,
there's like a serious time difference.
Like, is there?
Yeah, I think so.
But yeah, they're like right, yeah. They're in a world of their own. Where's Zealand? I'm looking this up. Is the most populous Danish island.
Yeah. Oh, the Dutch.
Classic,
the Dutch really
Zealand.
ruined a lot of things. Between us and the Dutch, we literally just colonised everything. It's horrid.
Do you ever have a moment where you're like, New York is like York, but it's like the people. Like, do you get what I mean? Where it's like New York is named that because a British person landed
took it
there,
over from the Dutch.
yeah, and was like, I love York, like New York. This is the New
Yeah, but
York.
it was New Amsterdam, and they were like, nah, get out
That
of
would be
here.
that.
Get
No,
out
that
of
wouldn't
here.
work. That wouldn't work. Sorry.
Sorry, circling back, I think it was very interesting that
Yeah.
these women are the first to stand down, not out of like disgrace or
Yeah.
anything in particular, but to have the vulnerability to say, I'm done, and
Yeah.
someone else could do this job better than me
Yeah.
right now.
Much
That's huge. Men
like-
don't do that.
Much like Rihanna, being like, I'm not making another album because I don't want it.
Yeah.
And it's like, and like saying like my old album's the best one. I'm not doing that again. And that's like the Nicola and
Yeah.
Jacinda. They've been
Literally.
like, well, they deserve. They
I
deserve
think
a
lots of
bath
people have
and
been
a
paying
sit
attention to
down.
Brené Brown recently, and I think
I love Brené Brown.
I know you do.
Brené Brown super fan of the woman. I was about to say fan of the podcast. Should we get her on?
Yeah. Should we just get Brené Brown?
I would.
think it'd be good.
If I met her, I think I would be so uncool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
me
would be
too.
really like.
Anyway, I think that's it.
I think that is it.
Those are
What
the
else do
topics
we
we
have?
wanted to talk about today. There was a lot of tangents. Don't know if they'll make it in.
Many
but
tangents.
thank you very much for watching. If you've made it
Should we do
this
our
far.
horoscopes?
Oh yes.
We're going to do each other's
Forget it.
brief horoscopes.
Okay, let's do it.
Yours.
I'm a Sagittarius. Don't know if you can already tell.
I'm a Virgo, and I think you can tell.
I think you can definitely tell I'm one. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, go on.
So February 22nd, Virgo, this is for you. You can be excited about putting ideas into motion today. Dear Virgo, with your ruling planet Mercury in harmony with Mars, it's an excellent time to attend to your work or health, such as through diet and exercise. No, don't do that. Confidence builds. Problems, particularly work or health related, seem easy to resolve. You might suddenly have the tools to handle tricky areas. You have the chance to strengthen relationships with co-workers or with yourself and your attitudes towards work. Instead, you discover new ways of approaching your work. Today is strong for enthusiasm and motivation, and projects you begin now can have long-term viability. It's a sign. It's a
That's
sign.
actually crazy. And the exercise thing, I'm doing dance class later. So I'm like, there's
Yeah.
all, like, I'm trying new things, I'm
Yeah.
exercising.
Yeah. Now give me my doom and gloom.
Okay. Sagittarius, you're ready to fix problems and get things done today. Dear Sagittarius, with a Mercury-Mars transit motivating you, you're in a particularly good place for studies, conversations, and making connections. You tend to get the point quickly. You might pair up with someone for a satisfying activity or for problem solving. There's a tendency to make quick judgments or decisions now, so be sure they're quick and not hasty. Today is good for bringing yourself to do something different or take action on an idea and enjoying a stronger sense of well-being as a result. While sensitivity and communications may not be natural today, you can be quite effective and to the point. This is an excellent time for gently pushing ahead.
Yes.
So
I think
real.
that's so true. I got a lot of big scaries about graduating at the
Scary
moment, and I
scaries.
think I need to put some plans in motion today
It's so scary.
to make things feel less scary.
Maybe do a segment next week. Maybe a little article about the just abyss of graduation.
Yeah,
The black
Dude.
void.
it is
Sorry.
really black void. Anyway, on a positive note, I hope you've enjoyed our random discussions today.
Yeah.
We've tried to keep some kind of structure to this.
Yeah.
Hope you've enjoyed anyway.
Yeah, and join us next week. We're going to do a series of these, and please let us know below what you think or what you'd like us to talk about.
Yeah. Anyway, I've been Grace.
And I've been Alice.
Thank you very much for watching.
Thank you.
Bye.